You asked for it and now it's here. The Safety Goggles Smeargle Ditto-Farming Method. Dittos are still in high demand and you can sell them for a solid base price on the GTL. Accordingly, Ditto boxes can also be sold at high prices. At the time of recording, Ditto boxes are selling for about 300,000 Poke Yen. This method appears to be very profitable and the entry hurdles are manageable. So let's get right into things. All you really need for this method is Smeargle level 100 with the moves False Swipe and Spore, and the held item Safety Goggles. IVs and EVs don't really matter. It is also recommended that the remaining 2 attacks are non-damaging moves like Soak and Sweet Scent. With this moveset, it is impossible for Ditto to kill your Smeargle. In addition, Ditto cannot use Spore due to the Safety Goggles. That's basically all you need. However, I also recommend taking a teleport Pokemon with you and another catching Pokemon with some damaging moves. This second catching Pokemon is very important in case you encounter a shiny within a horde. To catch the shiny, you first need to defeat all other Pokemon. And since your Smeargle only knows False Swipe and non-damaging moves, you won't be able to catch the shiny using Smeargle alone. So do yourself a favor and bring a second Pokemon that knows some damaging moves. The method itself is as simple as it can get. Encounter Ditto, use False Swipe, then Spore, and finally throw a Dusk Ball. That's it. Rinse and repeat and hope for some valuable Dittos. The main goal of this method is to catch as many Dittos as possible so that we can sell them in boxes. As already mentioned, the price of a Ditto box is around 300,000 Poke Yen. These numbers come from the Petrowski Discord server. If we divide this number by 60, we get the average price for one Ditto, namely 5,000 Poke Yen. If you sell such a Ditto on the GTL, you'd have to pay 1,000 Poke Yen of listing fees. In other words, Dittos that cannot be sold for at least 6,000 Poke Yen on the GTL should be sold via Ditto box. However, it would be also great if we could catch some 31 IV Dittos with the corresponding nature, such as Adamant Ditto with 31 IVs in attack or speed. Such Dittos can be sold on the GTL for a lot more. At the time of recording, an Adamant Ditto with 31 IVs in attack sells for about 27,000 Poke Yen. With that being said, let's continue with the results. In 1 hour I had 90 encounters, of which 51 were Dittos. Just like in my last 2 videos about Ditto farming, I count a Loudred Horde as 1 encounter. This results in an encounter rate of 56.7%. The encounter rate is similar to the encounter rates of my other 2 Ditto farming videos. I caught all the Dittos and used a total of 86 Dusk Balls. This results in a catch rate of 59.3%. That's a little bit lower than expected, but maybe I was just unlucky. Of the 51 Dittos caught, 7 had 1 31 IV value and 1 Ditto even had 2 times 31 IVs. Unfortunately, I didn't catch a 31 IV Ditto with the corresponding nature, but that's okay and to be expected. The income streams of this method consist of the Dittos that we will sell in boxes and any 31 IV Ditto, ideally with a good nature, that can be sold for at least 6,000 Poke Yen on the GTL. In my case, every 31 IV Ditto could be sold for at least 6,000 Poke Yen on the GTL, so I did that. The 2 times 31 IV Ditto was even sold for 36,000 Poke Yen. This leaves 43 Dittos that can be sold via boxes. Using some quick math, these 43 Dittos generated a revenue of 215,000 Poke Yen. In total, we therefore achieved a revenue of 295,400 Poke Yen. The costs consist of the listing fees and the used Dusk Balls. In total, I spent 124,920 Poke Yen. As you can see, the majority of the costs, or 93%, come from the purchase price of the Dusk Balls. By deducting the costs from the revenue, we arrive at a net profit of 170,480 Poke Yen. Even if the entry hurdle is a bit higher than in other Ditto farming methods due to the special Smeargle you need, it is very easy to implement. It is one of the best ways to catch lots of Dittos in a short amount of time. I still find Ditto farming methods very fun and definitely recommend you try this one out, or another Ditto farming method. Let's compare this method with the other methods I have tested so far. With a net profit of 170k, this method is ranked 5th. It is almost on par with the Espeon Ditto-Farming method. Even though this method performs minimally worse, in my opinion, it has a decisive advantage. While you have to keep your head in the game with the Espeon method, the Smeargle method can be done as a side activity. For this reason, I prefer this method. But what do you think? Thanks to everyone who watched the video until the end. I really appreciate it. These videos take a lot of time and effort to produce, so if you liked this video and could give me 3 seconds of your precious time, I would really appreciate if you'd leave a like and subscribe for more PokeMMO statistics. If you watched until the end, there's a high probability you're gonna like these 2 videos as well. Okay, that's gonna do it. Until the next time, see ya.